Hello, Mary Meet. Someone asked in one of my videos a question about sigils, and I was thinking I would reply in a video simply because it's faster and easier for me since I have the dyslexia to just tell you through a video the reply than to type up a long reply. So let's go. The question was this. If this gentleman were having sex with his girlfriend and was painted a sigil on her forehead, could he use that for invocation? Short answer, yes. Yes, you can. Now, I assume that what you mean by sigil is the Osman Spare type sigil magic, the type of sigil magic that has become popular within chaos magic, which is basically that you make a symbol to represent your wish. You represent what you want to happen, and then you use some form of gnosis that are attained by quieting down your regular everyday mind and having a moment of a different consciousness. It is very popular to do this through sex magic. If you're working alone, then you will have the sigil in front of you, and you might masturbate. And then at the moment where you reach a climax and your mind goes a little blank, that is enough to fire off that sigil. And you could definitely do exactly the same when you're working sex magic with a partner and painting the sigil onto your partner's body in a place that you will be looking while you are doing your thing is definitely something that could work. As for invocation, yes, I would say that I'm not completely sure what you mean by invocation. When they talk about invocation means invoking, for example, an energy into them or a quality. So, for example, I might want to invoke a quality of peace into me, for example, or draw an energy into me. And while the most common use of invocation is that you invoke a deity or a spirit of some kind to communicate with that spirit. And yes, you can do both. Basically, if you want to invoke an energy, for example, you can use a symbol that symbolizes that energy. If you want to invoke feeling and fill yourself with that, you can use a symbol to represent that feeling. For example, you can either make a typical chaos magic sigil, writing, for example, I am filled with peace. But you could also use the image of a dove, for example. That'll also work. The same if, let's say, you want strength or power, you'll find a symbol that to you represents this, and you use that. If it's energy, you can, for example, say the life force energy is flowing through me, make a sigil out of that, boom. As for an entity, I would say that either you should use that entity's symbol. Sorry, I'm still working on a cold here. So, for example, if you're working with a Solomonic entity, you have used those symbols. You have planetary sigils for various deities. You can use those. Or you can write an invocation to that deity. For example, Hail Great Odin. I invite you into my life and accept your wisdom. Write that out, make a sigil out of it, and yes, paint it on the forehead of your lover and go to town. So, yes, definitely, as a reply to your question, you can use sigil magic in such a way. So, and just Nader, since you was asking that sigils, I assume you already know this, but basically how you make a sigil, there are a few different versions. The way I like to do it is basically you write out your phrase. It should be as short and concise as possible. And it should be very direct about what you want. So if you're trying to manifest something, it shouldn't be, I wish for a new car. It should be, I have a new car. I have, and then write out the car you want. As precise and direct and to the point as possible. And with an invocation, I would say you can get a bit more flourishing as you feel like. And just write that out. Now you go over what you've written. You take away all repeating letters. So if there's several A's, for example, you only keep one. And then some make the sigil out of that, while some then also go and take out all the vowels. And some takes out all the consonants. It really depends on what you wish there. I often like to use all the letters that are left. But if it's a long phrase, then that might be a little bit much, and then you can take out either the vowels or the consonant, depending on which system you prefer. Now you take the letters that you have left them, and you place them on top of one another, and you basically make a design that incorporates all of these letters. And you can have a line go over more than once. So for example, an H, you can put an I in one of the pillars of the H, and so on, and then you have a symbol, and then you can just fancy it up a little bit to make it look all magicy, and go ahead. And a lot of those that work with this system says that once you have then fired off your sigil, then you should forget about it as much as possible. You shouldn't think about it, because thinking about it, that will then affect the working later. So whatever note you want to do that, and whatever note you want to keep your sigil afterwards, so completely up to you, but the traditional way, you try to forget about it. And yeah, so invoking a deity, I would say you write up an invocation and you go to town with that. It's a perfectly okay way to go about it. Of course, your partner should be a willing participant in this sex magic. You shouldn't just basically paint something on her and not say what you're doing. Every participant within a magical working should be aware of what is going on. But yeah, this is a perfectly fine and very effective way to work magic. So I hope that answered your question. Have a great day and blessed be.